What if I told you that King David, the shepherd boy, the giant slayer, the man after God's own heart, might have been the architect of one of history's most calculated political purges? What if the same king who wrote "The Lord is my shepherd" also quietly eliminated an entire royal bloodline? This is the story they don't teach in Sunday school. This is the dark side of David's rise to power, where every rival to his throne mysteriously ended up dead. And the wildest part, he never got his hands dirty. Unmask King David's shady side in this tea-spilling vid. Not did he sin, but how'd he dodge the fallout? Buckle up for legacy-shattering, mega-uncomfy truth bombs. These are the types of content I create. If you're interested, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming videos. Let's start with the basics. Who are we even talking about? When King Saul died, he didn't just leave behind a kingdom, he left behind heirs. People who had legitimate claims to Israel's throne. People who stood between David and total power. Here's the list. Ish-bosheth, Saul's son and the rightful heir to the throne. Abner, he was related to King Saul as his first cousin. Abner was the son of Heir, who was Saul's uncle. He was Saul's general, the military powerhouse who could make or break kings. He is the political architect of Saul's side in the north, or in Israel. Mephibosheth, Jonathan's son. Remember Jonathan, David's best friend, the guy David made a covenant with? And 7 grandsons of Saul. These were the only people standing between David and complete control of Israel. David and Jonathan's BFF oath. Never cut off kindness to my fam, even after God cuts all your enemies. Poof. What happened to that promise? The pattern of convenient deaths? Let me walk you through the body count and pay attention to the timing. Death number 1. Abner, the general who switched sides. The setting is Ish-bosheth is the king in Israel, in the north, and David is the king in Judah, south. Abner was Saul's right-hand man. He made Ish-bosheth king after Saul died. But then things started falling apart. Ish-bosheth accuses his BFF of banging Saul's concubine, aka a throne grab power move. Abner flips to Team David. Messy. Abner sent messengers to David saying, "Make your covenant with me, and I will help to bring all Israel over to you." This was huge. Abner switching sides meant David was about to unite the entire kingdom without a fight. Joab straight up gut-stabbed Abner days later. Blood revenge for his bro Asahel, he claimed. Real motive? Lock in his general gig over Israel plus Judah. Sneaky power play. David played the mourning card hard. Funeral, curse on Joab's whole fam. May his blood fall on Joab's head. But zero actual punishment. Joab kept his general gig like nada happened. Classic all-talk boss move. So here's the question. Was this really blood revenge? Or was it a political assassination with plausible deniability? Because let's be honest, Abner alive meant Joab had to share military power. Abner dead meant Joab had all of it. Don't be the person who shows up to the group chat with nothing but crap news. Be the one who drops knowledge bombs that make everyone go, "How did I not know this?" Death number 2, Ish-bosheth, the rightful heir. Fast forward a bit. Ish-bosheth is now a king without a general. Weak, vulnerable, alone. And then 2 assassins sneak into his house while he's taking a nap, stab him in the stomach, cut off his head, and bring it to David like a trophy. Now, why would they do that? Why bring the head to David unless they thought David wanted it? But David's reaction? He's furious. He has the assassins executed on the spot, hands and feet cut off. Bodies were hung up for everyone to see. Noble, right? Except Ish-bosheth is now dead, and guess who becomes king of all Israel? David. So here's the uncomfortable question. Did David order the hit and then kill the hitman to cover his tracks? Because if you're trying to look innocent, that's exactly what you do. But here's nobody talks about. Death number 3, the 7 grandsons, the mass execution. this one's the darkest. Years later, there's a famine in Israel. 3 years of drought, crops failing, people starving. David checks in with heaven's customer support. Why the famine? God basically replies, this one's on Saul and his blood-soaked dynasty. He massacred the Gibeonites. David asks the Gibeonites what they want, and they're like, oh, nothing much, just 7 of Saul's descendants. We'll kill them and hang the bodies. No big deal. Yikes. 7 descendants, 7 of Saul's grandsons, and David hands them over just like that. They're executed, their bodies are left hanging in the open, and wouldn't you know it, the famine ends. Divine justice or David's shady throne-clearing hack? God's will plus Gibeonite demands equals perfect excuse to ghost Saul's last rivals. Which is it? Because think about it, who benefits from this? Isn't it David who just eliminated the final remnants of Saul's dynasty? And then there's Mephibosheth, Jonathan's son, the one David spared. David brings him to the palace, gives him a seat at the royal table, and restores his family's land. Sounds generous, right? Except Mephibosheth was crippled in both feet. He couldn't run, couldn't rebel, couldn't do anything except sit in Jerusalem under David's watch. David didn't kill him, but he didn't exactly set him free either. Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan and the grandson of Saul, ends his days honored in Jerusalem, eating at David's table despite his disability, a living symbol of covenant loyalty. So, was this mercy? Or was it house arrest disguised as kindness? The coincidence angle. Let's step back and look at the big picture, because when you line up all these deaths, a pattern starts to emerge. Abner dies days after switching to David's side. Ish-bosheth dies right when David is consolidating power. The 7 grandsons die exactly when the kingdom needs a divine explanation for the famine. And every single heir to Saul's throne ends up dead or contained. Now, if this happened today, what would we call it? If a modern politician's rivals all mysteriously died, would we say, well, God must be blessing him? Or would we open an investigation? How many I had nothing to do with it deaths can one king have before it stops being a coincidence? Ditch the basic bites. Our secret chef's tasting menu serves hidden biblical gems with jaw-dropping twists that'll make you the star of the story. Crave the real tea? We've got it. And then there's Joab, David's general, his enforcer, his, what's the right word, hitman? Because here's the thing about Joab, he kept going rogue in ways that always benefited David. He kills Abner, David's rival. He kills Absalom, David's rebellious son. He later kills Amasa, David's temporary replacement for Joab. During Sheba's rebellion, David demotes Joab and replaces him with Amasa. Big mistake. When Amasa moves too slow to assemble an army, David then sends Abishai to pursue Sheba. Joab joins the pursuit and then stabs Amasa, his cousin, to death. Career advancement, ancient style. Nothing says, I want my job back quite like murder. And David's punishment for Joab? Literally nothing. Until his deathbed, when he basically tells Solomon, hey, can you handle that Joab problem for me? Don't let him die peacefully, thanks. Way to delegate, David. So here's the question. Was Joab really a rogue general? Or was he David's plausible deniability? Think about it. If David wanted someone dead but couldn't risk doing it himself, what better way than to have a rogue general do it, publicly condemn it, and then keep that general on payroll? Either David was the wimpiest king who couldn't leash his own nephew, General Joab, or was Joab just his super loyal shadow hitman doing the dirty work? You pick the T. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the famine. David says God told him the famine was because of Saul's sin, and the solution? Execute 7 of Saul's descendants. But here's what bothers me. Who controls the narrative when a king says, God told me? Did David genuinely seek God's face? Or did the answer just happen to solve his political problem? A king with rivals still lurking? Boom. National crisis hits. Talk about convenient timing to clean house. blaming it on their grandfather's sin and using divine justice to eliminate them? If God wanted Saul's family wiped out, why still hand David the messy job and say, "You deal with it"? And here's the scariest part. How many leaders today justify removing threats by saying, "God told me to"? When does protecting God's plan become a convenient excuse for destroying people? Most YouTube channels are like gas station snacks. Flashy wrappers, zero nutrition. We're the artisan coffee shop you didn't know you needed. Real substance, actual depth, videos that make your brain feel fed instead of fried. You're welcome. But let's not forget the victims. Because while David is securing his throne, there's a mother watching her sons die. Her name was Rizpah. She was one of Saul's concubines, and 2 of the 7 men executed were her sons. Rizpah went full mama bear mode, sackcloth on a rock, 24/7 corpse patrol from harvest to downpour, scaring off birds by day, beasts by night. Talk about savage devotion. Think about that. For months, this mother camped out under the hanging corpses of her sons, protecting them from scavengers. She didn't speak, she didn't fight, she just refused to look away. And you know what? Her vigil shamed David into action. He finally gave them a proper burial. So here's the question. Was Rizpah the real hero in this story? Was she exposing the brutality of David's divine justice by simply showing she's sorrowful? Just go ahead and check it out. What's the worst that could happen, right? Don't be a chicken. The moral complexity. So here's the brain bender. David was God's chosen king and a political operator, both, at the same time. God's choice? Sure. Also, possibly a serial threat eliminator. Maybe the Bible isn't here to make David look good. Maybe it's daring us to admit our heroes also have dirty hands. Pastors still pull the ministry needs this card to axe rivals and lock in power, while blaming the mess on someone else's sin. Ancient playbook, modern drama. If David could use God language to resolve a national crisis through targeted deaths, what does that warn us about religious politics today? And who are the Rizpahs in our world, the mothers, the minorities, the whistleblowers, standing guard over the consequences of decisions made in God's name? Oh, buckle up. If you don't get this, you could be staring at a pile of gold, and there you are, thinking it's just some fancy copper. The final question. So was David innocent, or he knows how to win? Here's the paradox. If David was innocent, why does the pattern look so damning? Maybe the lesson is this. God's kingdom isn't a Hallmark movie. It's messy, awkward, full of humans doing human things. Is David God's man and a slick operator? Where's the line between faith and using God as your throne grab excuse? If he faced trial today, is a guilty verdict incoming? Open up your mind and further enrich your understanding of well-researched knowledge, which is the foundation of true wisdom. Remember, it's essential to select content that offers something of value. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. David had power, God's VIP pass, and a very suspicious body count. The Bible isn't hiding David's mess, it's putting it on full display. Yeah, even chosen ones aren't immune to the corrupting allure of power. Maybe that was the lesson all along. We may think we are doing the right thing, but the Lord always knows what is in our hearts. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. David called himself Jonathan's friend, but he stayed silent while Jonathan's family fell. Hits hard on the David-Jonathan covenant betrayal. David thought he was right. He might have even believed God was with him. But what about the bodies? If this video made you uncomfortable, good. That means you're thinking. Do you think David was innocent, guilty, or somewhere in between? Hit that subscribe button and remember, the truth is rarely as simple as we've been told.